Hello there, a very warm welcome to the Racing Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, and joining me to look ahead to the final day of Glorious Goodwood on Saturday are Tom Collins and Keith Melrose. 5 races on ITV bring down the curtain on what's been a fantastic festival. It's been so lovely to have crowds back. We've had great racing, great stories. Lady Bo thought that really was magnificent. Let's see who the boys fancy on Saturday. We'll start with the 120. It's an early start on ITV4 for the Materials Handicap. Oh, blimey, hang on a sec. I need some odds. Let's have a look. Right then, these are approximate best prices. Quintilis is 100 to 30. Spirit of Bermuda is 9 to 2. And then we've got Master Zoffany at 9 to 2. Just Frank 7. Dark Shift 7. 9 to 1. Bar. Looks a tricky enough start, so we'll give Keith the first crack at solving it.
This is the race that I'm probably going to tap out of this week, Bruce. I nearly put up Red Mirage. I think he's got quite a lot of ability. The last 2 runs have been poor, and you can sometimes write them off for Martin Johnson, but it was a bit of a stretch when you're taking a chance. Obviously, we don't say forced to have a bet, and I don't think I will back this horse. There is a temptation there, but I'm officially no bet.
Jolly good, Tom.
Well, there's going to be a fast gallop in here with Just Frank, Red Mirage, Spirit of Bermuda, etc. in the field. I think they're going to go red sectionals early. That's going to suit Master Zoffany and Quintilis, who's my selection, albeit he is favourite. He was extremely promising as a 2-year-old. He bolted up, beating Run to Freedom, who's in this field as well. At Kempton in a good time on his second start. Hung badly on his next 2 runs, but then he underwent a gelding operation and was much better in the Britannia. Ran in a straight line, albeit he was actually carried across by the winner, Perotto, that day. Finished 3rd, very good run, first time back off a layoff. He made his move really early as well, from 5 furlongs to 4 furlongs out. He boasted the quickest section in the field. Unsurprisingly, failed to sustain that run in the final 100 yards, where he kind of flattened out a little bit, and he was passed by Liffey River. But his pedigree suggests that soft ground will suit, and I reckon he can bounce back here. So Quintilis for me.
Righty-ho, if you thought that was difficult, let's have a crack at the 155. It's the Unibet Stewards Sprint Handicap, a consolation race for the Stewards Cup, over 6 furlongs, just the 28 runners. First Folio, very strong favourite though for James Ferguson at 9 to 2. And then we've got Power Over Me at 15 to 2. Music Society is 8s. It's 11s, Royal Scimitar, and it's 14s Bar. Again, these are guide prices, and as we always say on the show, check for best prices, but also best place terms. There will be some bookmakers paying all sorts of fancy place terms in this, so don't miss out on that. Tom, is it possible to be confident in a race like this?
I don't think so, though saying that, my nap's going to be in the Stewards Cup, so I'm kind of being a bit hypocritical here. This race, I can make a case for a few. Obviously, First Folio is coming here instead of the main Stewards Cup. He didn't get into that field. Treacherous is interesting as he comes back to try and retain his crown, but he doesn't do a jot in front. That kind of put me off him. I'm going to be with Boundless Power. This race often suits those that are held up. It's run at a fast clip, and those that come from behind and have a high cruising speed and a good acceleration often benefit from that. Boundless Power is that horse. He's been a dramatic improver for Mick Appleby since coming across from Jimmy Fiend's yard in Ireland. Really high cruising speed. Showed that when an unlucky 5th last time in Heritage Handicap at Ascot. Prior to that, he was a very impressive winner. I think the step up to 6 and a fast pace will suit him, and I like his draw. So Boundless Power around 16 to 1, I think is a very good price with the enhanced each way terms.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tom. Keith, what is your view of this?
Yeah, it's very hard, isn't it? And there's quite a few you can make the case for. You would actually suggest that, this is a handicap with the 98 ceiling. You don't have these exposed nearly group horses in there like you do in the Stewards Cup. It can actually be more competitive sometimes, a consolation race. And you're right, no massively confident selections, but you get these each way place terms and you want to be having a go at that. It's Royal Scimitar's the one I'm putting up. He's only just come back to sprint trips. He was a really useful juvenile actually, and he finished 4th in the ACOM and 4th at the Flying Scotsman, which is an increasingly strong race at Donny. But he's come back to 6th last time in the Heritage Handicap at the July meeting. He was on the near side that day. He won that side and was gaining all the time at the line to behind Blackrod. It's whether if he can keep up this time, and he has got a lot of speed, and if he can keep up, I just can't see him out the first 4 or 5. I think he's still very well handicapped of 95.
Righty-ho. If you go to Sky Bet, you can get 7 places. The only drawback with that is that I don't think when they offer those lovely 7 places, you get the best odds guarantee. So there's decisions to make, not just on which horse you back, but who you back it with. Let's look now at the 2:30. It's the summer handicap over a mile and 6 furlongs. Prices in just a jiffy when my phone decides to behave. Here we go then. 9-2 Nuit Saint-Georges, 11-2 My Frankel, 15-2 Winner Clock, 8-1 Ade and Prince Alex, 9-1. Loads of others. This is really close. The outsider is only 18-1 and there's 13 runners, 14 runners. So it's a really wide open affair. Blimey, it's a tricky old punting card. This, isn't it, Keith?
It certainly is. Yeah, there's looking at this, and there's no max bets on this card as far as I'm concerned. It is all very, very tough.
But
this is
you like a long distance flat race with a few decent horses in, so I'm expecting you to come up trumps here. No pressure.
Oh, I do. Oh, absolutely no. And it just happens to be a race where I've got some strong factors. It's a race where I would expect to have a really strong fancy, and I don't particularly, to be quite honest, I would have been very keen on Prince Alex, but I don't particularly like that change from Rafe Beckett to Michael Bell since his last run in July. That doesn't strike me as the best preparation for this. So I'm just going to err towards a horse that still is with Beckett, Future Investment. He should have won at Ascot last time. It was the day after Prince Alex ran at the July meeting. He was no second to Vindolanda, but that winner got the jump on them. And it was, but for that, Future Investment would have won. He's only £2 higher now. That was a clear best effort anyway. And I think in a very open race, he's the one I'm most interested in at the prices you can get double figures.
Future Investment is Keith's selection. Who's Tom's selection?
Well, to coin a sweet spot phrase, the last off my list was Prince Alex, so I'm glad that Keith mentioned him. The number one pick is going to be On to Victory, who you can also get a double figure price about. He has to carry 9 stone 10, which obviously isn't easy in a staying handicap like this. But he's a dual purpose performer. We know he can carry a big weight. His recent runner-up effort behind Huckham was a clear career best, in my opinion. And given he's a 7-year-old now, that's quite a surprise. He's still improving. He obviously goes well at Goodwood. That race came at Goodwood. The step up to a mile 6 will suit. And Alan King's had a brilliant meeting with Trushan and Asymmetric, winning group races so far. So I think On to Victory can run a good race and maybe hit the frame at a double figure price.
Okay, thanks, chaps. We'll take a very quick break and then we're back for Wonderful Tonight.
Here at Racing Post, we've got a glorious offer for Goodwood this week. If you take out a yearly subscription to Members Club Ultimate with the code GOODYEAR, you will get 20% off the already discounted price for your first year, saving over £140. That's code GOODYEAR, all one word. Goodyear, for £140 off your first year of Members Club Ultimate.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Racing Post weekend postcast. Bruce Millington, Tom Collins and Keith Melrose looking at 2 absolute crackers at Goodwood, starting with the 3:05 on Saturday, the Qatar Lily Langtry Stakes. It's a Group 2 for fillies and mares over a mile and 6. And Wonderful Tonight, who gets pulled out quite a bit when it gets firm. Hopefully will have no excuse. There's lots of rain. There's a bit of cut in the ground, and she's 4-6. Alba Flora 5-1, Believe in Love 9-1, Tribal Craft and Divinely 12-1, 14 Bar. Is this quite simple, Tom? Does Wonderful Tonight just win?
Yeah, I think so. If she repeats her victory in the Hardwick, the same kind of performance, then she'll win this race. The Hardwick was a Group 1 race. She was against the boys, and she won that pretty decisively. Obviously, she's going to need the ground. The rain is likely to come, although it's currently good, I think, at the moment at Goodwood. If the ground comes for her, Wonderful Tonight should win this race. But I don't think it's a very good betting heat. I personally won't be punting in the race. Alba Flora is an intriguing runner. I really liked her when she won Ascot earlier this year. I think she can win a Group 1 on testing conditions. But her price is about right as well. So I'll be leaving this one, I think, Bruce.
Tom, can Wonderful Tonight win the Arc?
Good question. Look, if the ground gets very testing, then maybe. I think the 3-year-olds are better than Wonderful Tonight. And obviously, you need to know who's going to go there from Charlie Appleby, maybe both Adiyar and Hurricane Lane. It's going to be a great race. Hopefully, Wonderful Tonight does turn up in the Arc as well, because she adds a different dimension. I won't be with her in the Arc, though I do think she'll be well punted, especially if she wins this Lily Langtry pretty cosily.
Absolutely. And Keith, before we get onto the Lily Langtry, who's best, Hurricane Lane or Adiyar from an Arc perspective?
From an Arc is probably the best neutral venue to have them both. I would still err towards Hurricane Lane. I think he's slightly quicker. I do think he's slightly better, but there isn't much in it at an Arc distance. If they met over a mile 2, definitely Hurricane Lane, but the Arc would be mouth-watering, I think.
It certainly would. Meanwhile, the Lily Langtry, does that water your mouth?
It's a race where I'm going to stretch to a bet because I do think it is just about right in terms of the disparity in prices. Albaflora's best form, which is a run at Ascot that Tom referred to, does give her more of a chance against Wonderful Tonight than the prices would suggest. She beat Tribal Craft 7 lengths, and 2 weeks later that horse ran the race of her life to win the Bronte Cup at York. So even though there's a little bit of that still stands out in Albaflora's record, there's credibility behind it, and on that basis, she's never tried a mile. She's only tried once a mile 6 so far. She was beaten by Berkshire Rocco, but she should, on her downside of her pedigree, she's by Muhara. Her downside, she's typical of the rousing bred horses, really stout on that side. Should really stay a mile 6, and I think the prices as they are just about give the room to back Albaflora against Wonderful Tonight.
Okay, righty-ho, 340, the Unibet Stewards Cup over 6 furlongs, 28 runners. Fresh is the favourite at 6-1. Kieran Schumacher looking to put the icing on a very nice Goodwood cake. 7-1 Hurricane Ivor, 11 Chill Chill, 11 Comanche Falls, 11 Chief of Chiefs, 12 Edge Talab, 14-1 the lovely Summer Gan who won it last year, 14 Punch Bowl Flyer, 14 Meras and Bielsa and Great Ambassador, blah, blah, blah. Loads of them, all with good chances. Who is going to be the one that crosses the line in front, Keith?
Well, as with the first, the consolation, you're not going to be hugely confident. I'm going to be keeping the faith with Zarzini, who's a horse that I put up, and I was price-wise the weekend. He finished second at Musselburgh, beating a short head. He's a horse that, the reason I would put him up is I thought David Barron's having a better year now than he did last year, and this horse had a lot of improvement to come. Second at Musselburgh, then went over to the Curragh and blobbed, but has since won at Redcar. He gets a £6 penalty for that, and I think that's why he's 16-1, but he's still a progressive horse. He'll need to improve, but I think he very much can. I think he got that penalty just to get in this race more than anything else. So Zarzini for me, but you're not having maximum bets on any of these because it is such a competitive race, but he's a horse that I think can still improve further.
Cheers, Keith. The favourite, Tom, is Fresh, to quote Cool and the Gang. Is he fresh, exciting, or are you going to go with something else?
I'm going to go with something else, though I can see the reason for backing Fresh. He's just a bit short in the market now, around 7-1 in a very competitive race. I've been all over Miras for the last week and a half. In fact, last year, when he finished 6th in this race, I think I tweeted straight away and said he'll win this race this year. So I've kind of got to stick to my guns with Miras. It's been a bit disappointing twice this year so far, but he's had 2 quick runs in a Mark Johnson kind of style that suggests he's being primed for this. He had wind surgery and a gelding operation in the off-season. He's running off £3 lower this year than he did last year. He came in this race last year as a 3-year-old. We have seen a few 3-year-olds win in this race, but it's a tough race for a 3-year-old to win. He was drawn poorly and still 6th, well punted into 11-2, and actually led until 150 yards to go when he was picked up by Summergand and the like. I think this draw in 24 is much better for him. £3 lower, Ryan Moore booked. Hopefully he can get a lead as well rather than try and make all. And he's a great each-way price at 16-1. He's one of my better bets of the day.
Thank you very much, chaps. That was Goodwood. Let's do Newmarket next.
Be sure to watch Racing Post Live with Betfair for racing reaction, tips and discussion. Live every Saturday afternoon on the Racing Post YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Let's look at the 2 ITV races at Newmarket on Saturday. 2:10 European Bloodstock News, British EBF Fillies Nursery over 6 furlongs. Let's see if we've got prices for this. Bear with me, gang. Hang on. 2:10. Right then, let's see. 9-2 Symphony Perfect. 6-1 Dora Penny. 15-2 Eternal Glory. 8-1 Lady Airsome and Cashew. 9-1 Bar. Tom, have you managed to solve this?
God, I don't know about that. This is a very tough and wide open nursery. As nurseries go, nurseries aren't easy at the best of times, but this is wide open. I have no strong opinion. I've sided with Eternal Glory for trainer Mark Johnson. He's won the race for the last 2 years. She's a classic 2-year-old improver for the stable. I think she's going to relish the stiff finish on the July course, which is what led me to go with her. She's been really strong at the finish last twice at Pontefract and Hamilton, and the uphill final furlong at Newmarket should suit. She's up £4 for her latest defeat, which obviously isn't a plus, but Eternal Glory had the most ticks in the boxes for me in a very tough race.
It does look tough, Keith, doesn't it?
It is tough. I think I might have found one at a price that I'm quite keen to back. It's not guaranteed in these nurseries, but they've got a horse here called Between the Sheets. Michael Beller trained and Hayley Turner rides, and she ran well in her first start in quite a warm Ascot Fillies maiden in May, and has run not that well twice since. But there's been excuses. She's been slowly away. She's not had much room. She's spread a plate on one of the occasions. But she's had 6 weeks off after that, and she's got probably a lower mark than she might have deserved if she'd just gone handicapping straight after her first run. Obviously, you can't do that, but you know what I mean. After time, they might be a little bit easier on them, given that the good run was the first one. She's a half-sister to Miss Amulet, who was second in the Cheveley Park last year, so quite a good pedigree and quite a good chance to improve here. Mark of 72 is generous just on the Ascot run. And if she's grown up a little bit in that 6 weeks break since her last run, then I think she's got quite a good chance actually, and 14s would underestimate it.
14 to 1 outside of Between the Sheets. Okay, finally for the TV action, the 245, the British Stallions EBF Chalice Stakes. It's the listed race for fillies and mares over 1.5 miles, 10 run. The favourite is Save a Forest at 130, and then it's Sader at 4s, along with Yes Yes. Invite is 6, Portfolio 15 to 2, and it's 12 to 1 bar, which brings in Sherbet Lemon. Let me see, Keith, you can go first here.
Yeah, I like one here. I like Invite on our first start for Andrew Baldwin. She used to be in Marco Botti and was second to Save a Forest on her handicap debut before she won by 10 lengths at Donny in soft ground off a mark of 80. Botti sent her to the Italian Oaks after that, and I watched the replay of that this morning. She just pulls far too hard in that race, and she's beaten 4 1/4 lengths in a Group 2, and would have been a lot closer had she settled a little better. Whether she'll cope with 1.5 miles is a little bit of a doubt. I mean, the Dam's Katira, who was third in the Opera, I think, quite a few years ago now. So the pedigree is very much middle distance. And if she's able to stretch out to 1.5 miles at this stage of her career, I think she's got a smashing chance. And yeah, I think I've got 7 to 1 on my screen. That's very much a price worth taking. Right,
you are. Invite for Keith. Who for Tom?
It's going to be Yes Yes. I think she's the most intriguing horse in the field, though again, it's a very wide open race. I just love how Rafe Beckett campaigns his young horses. He's campaigned Yes Yes brilliantly so far. She's clearly needed time and a trip. She drew away from a good field on debut as well. She beat Eileen Dover, who everyone will know is a good smart bumper performer. Recent winner Thousand Oaks was back in third, so that form stacks up. She was impressive again earlier this month, again on rain softened ground, so any rain will help Yes Yes. The extra half a furlong will suit. And what interests me most about Yes Yes is that she still holds an entry in the St. Leger, albeit I don't think she would get anywhere near in the Classic. But the fact that she's still in there at this stage suggests that Rafe Beckett thinks Yes Yes is capable of performing at group level. And if that's the case, off just 8 stone 8, she gets weight from the elders. I think she's going to run a good race on her third start here.
He's the greatest trainer ever, isn't he, King Rafe? Don't you agree, Tom? If you won the lottery, okay, and you went out and said, right, I'm going to buy a yearling for 200 grand, who would you put it in training with?
Rafe Beckett would be very high on my list. I have to say, I am a big fan of him. Maybe Sir Michael Stout if I wanted to be in the long run. It depends. Look, it depends what filly, but Rafe Beckett would be very high up there.
Okay, what about you, Keith? Same question.
Yeah, it would depend on the sort of horse you're buying, but I probably would go William Haggis, actually.
Oh, would you? Oh, fair enough. Yeah. Jolly good. Okay, that's the TV action done and dusted. What else do the lads fancy? Let's see what else we've got. We've got the rest of Goodwood and Newmarket, obviously. It's day 38 of the Galway Festival. We've got Doncaster, we've got Hamilton, we've got Lingfield, and there's a bit of American action. Keith, have you got anything else for us, or are you going to keep your powder dry?
Weirdly this week, there's obviously it's staying races, the ones I'm watching, and all of those races are on the telly this week. It's the Lily Langtry and the Summer Handicap at Goodwood. Even the Chester Marathon on Sunday isn't actually over my distance. It's 1.4 miles. So there's no other races that I really have much of an interest in, so there's nothing for me. Okay, I bet Tom's got something. I bet he's in America, and I bet he's gonna give us the big one about how he's on TV again. Loves that. Come on, Tom.
Yeah, I am. I'm on stateside Saturday and Sunday for anyone that wants to tune into the US action. To be fair, it's a very good weekend of racing at Saratoga and Del Mar. There's Grade 1 racing, the Vanderbilt at Saratoga, the Bing Crosby at Del Mar. So that's just on Saturday. The best bet of the night is going to be Royal Spirit, though, in an extended mile maiden special weight contest at Saratoga. 8:55, race 6 on the card. Todd Pletcher's going really well at the moment so far in this meeting. He's booked leading rider Irad Ortiz, which is always a positive, especially on an unraced juvenile. The colt costs 450,000. He's a son of Into Mischief, who is the leading stallion in the US right now. He has the best book of mares next year. Phenomenal book. He's like the Galileo over here, or the Frank, or whatever you want to relate him to. The works for Royal Spirit have been really good, especially a 7 furlong work, which you don't often see for an unraced newcomer, but that should have him spot on for his debut. And then one more, if you just want one for a combination bet, a short price favourite, Essential Quality, the highlight of the night. Belmont Stakes winner, 4th in the Kentucky Derby, 6 from 7 in his career, leading 3-year-old in the States. He runs in the Jim Dandy, the Grade 2 Jim Dandy at Saratoga. I can't even remember what time it was right now.
It's 10:39.
Oh, you've had a look, Bruce. You've had a look at the US action. I'm proud.
I'm used to having to do your two's housework. Don't worry. Yeah, 10:39.
Lovely. Yeah, I think he'll be one for combination bets. He's going to be a short price, but I'll be very surprised if he loses.
What's it called again, Tom?
Essential Quality, and the nap is Royal Spirit, US nap. Royal Spirit in the 8:55, race 6 at Saratoga.
Okay. Tom mentioned the sweet spot earlier. If you're wondering what that is our weekly golf show. It's on every Tuesday. It's myself and Steve Palmer. And talking of Steve Palmer,
this will not be beaten.
Here are the Saturday naps. I'm going to go with Keith Melrose.
Yeah, I mean, some naps are stronger than others. That's the caveat this week. There's nothing this week that's getting 5-point treatment. I think it might be inviting the 245 at Newmarket.
Righty-ho. And Thomas?
Mine's going to be an each-way nap. Miras, 340 at Goodwood. I'll be surprised if he's out of the frame in the Stewards Cup.
340 at Goodwood. Excellent. That's the Stewards Cup. What was your highlight of Goodwood for the first 3 days, lads? Keith, what was it for you?
I mean, Lady Bowthorpe's the obvious one. It was great to see Alan King get his Group 1 win on the flat, actually, because I think I've said on a show yesterday, I think King didn't see himself as a true due porpoise trainer until he had that Group 1 on the flat. It was good to see him get that because he deserves that recognition. Excellent.
And what about you, Tom?
I think my highlight is finding the future Gimcrack, maybe Middle Park and Commonwealth Cup winner in Perfect Power. I thought he was very eye-catching yesterday behind Asymmetric in the Richmond. He looks a horse that's going to be improving for every start. I think he'll win the Gimcrack. I think he's currently around 5-1 for that race next month, and then the Middle Park after that.
Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, gents. Right, that was short and sweet. Hopefully plenty of winners in there. Good luck with all your bets this weekend. Hope you enjoyed the final day of Goodwood. It's great to have fans back, and it'll be great to have Maddie back on Monday for another postcast. We're back next Friday looking ahead to next weekend. Hope you can join us for that.